Hey everyone, it's Curtis here and welcome to an On the Back Wheel video. It's been revealed, the Aprilia Tuareg 660. It has been teased for a couple of years now, but now we have an official reveal. While it's only early days, I think it looks great. Let's have a look, shall we? For those who don't know, the Aprilia Tuareg is their take on the mid-size adventure bike. It was originally around in the 80s and 90s, and Aprilia have definitely taken the colour and styling from the older models. So what are the specs? It looks like Aprilia have gone all out, positioning the bike between the Yamaha Tenere 700 and the KTM 890 Adventure R. The motor has been taken from the RS660, but has some changes. Where the RS660 produces 100 horsepower, the Tuareg has been tuned for mid-range and bottom-end power. It now has 80 horsepower and the torque is 70 Nm. The RS660 has 67 Nm, so there is a boost here. There have been some complaints about the current 660 being a bit flat in the mid-range, so fingers crossed the changes help here, as off-road you tend to rely more on grunt and mid-range more than horsepower. Another change they've done is they reduced the engine sump depth. This increases ground clearance, always a good thing on off-road and adventure bikes. Unlike the Tenere 700, the bike has a ton of electronic wizardry going on. We've got a massive 5-inch TFT dash, 4 riding modes, 2 are customizable, 1 is dedicated to off-road. There's traction control, cruise control, engine maps, and adjustable engine braking. There is ABS, but you'll be happy to hear that you can turn both wheels off or just the rear wheel. There is no mention of a quick shifter, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is an optional accessory, just like they've done with the Tuono 660. Onto the chassis and suspension, probably the most important part of an adventure bike in my opinion, and thankfully it looks like they haven't messed around. The frame is tubular steel with a wheelbase of 1500mm, the ground clearance is a healthy 240mm, and the suspension travel is also 240mm, both front and rear. The forks are 43mm, and both the front and rear suspension are adjustable too, very nice. The tyres are tubeless with 21-inch front and 18-inch rear. Aprilia are really ticking all the boxes so far. The weight is 187 kilograms dry, and the fuel tank is 18 litres, so expect a wet weight of roughly 200.5 kilograms. And those are all the major specs we have so far. I have to say I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. If we look closer, we can see there's plenty of room for rear racks, a decent bash plate, mounts for GPS units, and good foot pegs. Its main rivals look to be the Tenere 700 and KTM 890 Adventure R, and it seems to be a happy mix of the two. The weight is similar or lighter than the T7 and is 9 kilos lighter than the 890. Power and torque wise, it's up in the Tenere, but down on the KTM. Not that power specs mean much on adventure bikes, but it's fun to compare. The most interesting comparison of mine is the suspension. The Tuareg has the same suspension travel as the high-spec Adventure R and the same ground clearance as the Tenere 700. There's no word on pricing yet, but looking at the specs, I'd say the Aprilia would be closer to the KTM 890 Adventure R than the Tenere 700. There is no release date yet either, but the Aprilia marketing team have stated that the bike will be a 2022 model, so we might see it as early as the end of this year. So what do you think of the Aprilia Tuareg 660? Do you like how it looks? Do you like its specs? Would you be interested in buying one? I'm pretty keen on one, to be honest. Let me know in the comments below. That's it from me. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and keep it on the back wheel.